Hey everyone, time for another card trick. This one I like to call Happy Campers, and it's based on the classic King, Queen, Jack, Ace trick. So check it out. So here's how the story goes. There was a street where these four families lived. Now these families, they'd been friends for years. They'd always gotten along together. All the fathers, they all got along together. The wives, they enjoyed each other's companies. All the kids, they'd play together. And they all had family dogs as well. And the dogs all liked each other. So they figured, well, since we all get along, why don't we go camping this summer? We'll all go together. We'll have a great time. So off they go to the campsite. And they meet up with the manager. And they said, okay, we got four families here. We need 4 tents. So he sets them up with 4 tents, and off they go. All the fathers start setting up the tents. The wives, they help clean up around the campground, making sure it's all nice and tidy for the kids to play. They all have a son named Jack, funnily enough. And of course, they also brought the family dog. Now, throughout the day, they did a little bit of hiking, canoeing, swimming, fishing, all had a great time. But by the time it was the evening, they were all starting to get a little bit on each other's nerves because they'd never been together for so long in such close proximity. The husbands started fighting with the wives were yelling at the sons, they weren't helping out, and of course the dogs were driving everybody crazy. So they're all arguing in their tents, and the manager got very upset. He said, listen guys, you're upsetting the rest of the campers. We need to do something about this. Everybody out of the tents. So one by one, the families got out of the tents. He says, okay, what I want you to do is I want you to go off, take a walk in the forest, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up a new sleeping schedule in all the tents. And that way we can ensure everyone's going to get along and have a good night's sleep. So he went to the first tent, and he posted up a new sleeping schedule. He moved over to the second tent. He posted a new sleeping schedule there. Then he went to the third tent. Again, he put up a new sleeping schedule. And then to the fourth tent, another new sleeping schedule. So he called everybody back and he says, okay, I want you to go back to the tents. Each tent has a new sleeping schedule. You have to go into that tent. That way we can ensure everybody's going to have a nice evening, go to sleep. Everybody's going to have a good rest, wake up fresh in the morning. So off they go into their assigned tents. One by one, tent number 1, tent number 2, 3, 4, etc. They all shuffled in, and wouldn't you know, they all had a lovely evening together. They all ended up going to sleep, no arguing, everyone had a great time. In the morning, they all woke up, and everybody came out of their tents. Now, why did they get along so well? Well, because all the wives who enjoyed each other's companies were all together. All the kids, they all enjoyed each other's company, and they were all together. Of course, all the dogs liked playing with each other. Even if they made a mess, it didn't matter because they were all together. And of course, all the husbands who got along had a lot of things in common. They were all together. So we're going to run through the Happy Campers card trick again, but this time the cards are going to be exposed. We'll just leave the camp manager here. We don't need him for the explanation. So, like I said, you're going to work with kings, queens, jacks, and aces. I like to arrange at the beginning so that the families are going to end up in the same suit when you first lay them down. So I like to organize my kings and queens, etc., from spades, hearts, clubs, diamonds, spade, hearts, clubs, diamonds, etc. You don't have to go in that order, but as long as they're the same, that way the families look like they're all together. So you lay down the kings first, followed by the queens. Now you don't want to cover the king, you want to just kind of keep the king exposed. That way it reinforces the idea of the families being all together, all the spades together, hearts, clubs, etc. And then you lay that down. Now when it comes time to scooping up the cards, you don't want to mix it all up. You want to just slide that like that, put this pile on top of the next, on top of the next, and on top of the next. Now, if I was to shuffle the cards at this point, everything would get mixed up and the card wouldn't work. This is what they call a self-setup card trick. As long as you just do cuts, you're okay. Now in my Happy Campers story, I did 4 cuts because there were 4 tents. You don't have to do 4 cuts, and I'm going to just show you that now. I'm going to do 5 in this example just to show you it's still going to work. So we'll do cut 1, cut 2, cut 3, cut 4, and like I promised you I was going to do 5 cuts, cut 5. And then when you lay out the cards at the end, Like I said, this is a self setup. It works out every time. There's no fancy shuffling that you have to do, no sleight of hand. Everything all just works out. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this card trick. Thanks for watching.